Okay, so a lot of big trades have gone down heading into the draft, so let's talk about them. And let's start with the biggest one being Pierre-Luc Dubois going to the LA Kings in exchange for Gabriel Velarde, Alex Iafallo, Rasmus Kupari, and a second-round pick. After tons of speculation, first with Montreal going back to last year and now with the LA Kings, Pierre-Luc Dubois finally gets traded out of Winnipeg. And I think Winnipeg did a fantastic job with this trade. Velarde is coming off of a career season with 23 goals and 18 assists, and at just 23 years old, he should continue to get better. And Rasmus Kupari is also a young player who can continue to develop and be a pretty solid third-line center. And while Alex Iafallo was thrown into the trade for cap reasons, he can still give you quality ice time and put up about 15-ish goals. The Jets got back players that can help them now and going into the future. On the LA side of the trade, with Pierre-Luc Dubois on an 8-year extension, and this being the last year of Anze Kopitar's contract and possibly his career, maybe, the Kings are looking at Dubois to be their number one center for the future. And he did have his best career season point-wise, but this move is kind of a gamble, especially with what they had to give up to get him. This is I wouldn't say a win now move, but like a win soon move. And I am just really fascinated to see how this trade turns out for both teams years down the line. Let's talk about another big trade that went down. Tyler Toffoli going to the New Jersey Devils. The Calgary Flames last season were very disappointing, but Tyler Toffoli was fantastic, putting up the most goals and points in a season he's ever had. And with it being apparent he wasn't going to re-sign with Calgary after this coming season, along with what felt like every single Flames player, and given the comments made by new GM Craig Conroy about how they never got anything back for Johnny Gaudreau and how he wasn't going to let that happen again, Toffoli being traded is not really a surprise. What is a surprise is that he's going to the New Jersey Devils in exchange for Yegor Serengovich and a pick. Serengovich is a solid NHL player and is young enough to where he can still improve. And it is better to get something back for a guy you know is not coming back rather than just letting him walk. But the return does feel kind of underwhelming, but Tyler Toffoli on the Devils is insane. If they're able to bring Timo Meier back, this is one of the craziest top two lines in the league. Now, do I expect Tyler Toffoli to put up another 30-plus goal season? Probably not, but maybe. But looking at who he's playing with, he doesn't need to. The Devils look like they're going to be an even bigger problem than last season. And that's not the only trade they made, as earlier they shipped out Mackenzie Blackwood to San Jose for a 6th-round pick. Mackenzie Blackwood has gotten worse every year since his rookie season. Now, to be fair, he has had an injury-riddled past couple of seasons, but with how poor he has been when he is playing, along with acquiring Vitek Vanacek and the emergence of Akira Schmid, he just simply fell out of the lineup. Now, will Blackwood play better in San Jose? I mean, the team in front of him isn't doing him any favors. I mean, he can't be worse than Kaapo Kähkönen was. Another trade that went down is Kevin Hayes going to the St. Louis Blues, which was a trade that was supposed to happen a few days ago, with more players involved, but Torrey Krug had other ideas, and now all the return is for Kevin Hayes is a 6th-round pick, which is great for the Blues, as they still get the player they wanted, but Philadelphia gets a significantly lower return and still have to retain 50%. Kevin Hayes had a pretty good season last year being an all-star, but him being on the move shouldn't be a surprise, given the new Flyers front office wanting a fresh start, as well as his not-so-great relationship with John Tortorella. And the Blues getting him at 50% retained, while basically not giving up anything, is a great move, as they look to move forward with the team now that Tarasenko and O'Reilly are gone. Moving on from that, Taylor Hall is going to the Blackhawks, along with Nick Foligno, who just got a $4 million contract. This move was clearly made to create cap space for the Bruins, who it looks like might be trying to re-sign Tyler Bertuzzi, and maybe even Dmitry Orlov, although that one looks a little less likely. So we'll see how that goes for the Bruins. On the Chicago side of the trade, Taylor Hall is going to be playing on Connor Bedard's wing, and in doing so, he'll probably put up a bunch of points and make himself valuable again to get traded in the last year of his deal. Also, how many first overall picks has Taylor Hall played with at this point? But with the Blackhawks getting Bedard, you'd want him to play with at least quality NHL players. So the trade makes sense in that regard, and it helps the Bruins slightly with their cap situation. Ryan Johansson got traded for Alex Galchenyuk, which would have been a crazy headline like 7-8 years ago. Ryan Johansson at this point is definitely not worth $8 million. But at 50% retained for 2 more seasons is a pretty good addition to the Avs lineup. and it's looking like he's going to be their new second-line center, as Alex Newhook got traded to the Habs for a first and a second-round pick, which I expect the Avs to use in a different trade soon to probably bolster those bottom two lines. And I really like Alex Newhook going to the Habs. And those are all the trades I want to talk about. I'm excited to see if anything crazy goes down at the draft. Let me know what you guys thought of these trades, and thank you for watching.